is my Cosplay 101 Becoming a Character, and I am Mikomi-chan. I am the owner and operator of Mikomi's Costumed World, and I've been cosplaying for several years now. And in this panel, I want to talk about how to get into cosplay. Basically, I want to do an introduction as to what cosplay actually is. I want to teach people how to become involved in cosplay. Another important thing for cosplay is learning how to research a character, so I'm going to be touching on that a bit. And then I want to talk about how to get into character and when to get into character when you are in cosplay. And then I'm also going to address the topic of when being a character goes too far. Another thing during this panel, it's basically open to Q&A throughout, so if you want me to expand upon a point that I'm talking about, or if you have a question about it, just go ahead and raise your hand and I'll address you. Okay, cool. Okay, so what is cosplay? How many of you have cosplayed before? Yay, okay. Well, how about we actually have one of you guys who has cosplayed before give me what you think cosplay is. What is cosplay to you? Somebody just stand up and give a definition. I mean, I have a migraine right now and I think I might throw up. So somebody needs to talk so I don't have to continually talk.
So cosplay is basically, you've got a character you really appreciate, really enjoy, and you're basically trying to pay tribute or, show how much you care about that character by dressing up like them and acting like them and hopefully getting recognized as that character. That's what it is to me anyways.
That's pretty good. Yay!
Woo!
That's actually pretty close to what my definition that I have on my slide is of cosplay. I define cosplay as the act of dressing up like a fictional character, and I also go into the fact that gender, body type, race, and religion play no part in what a person can choose to cosplay. So for instance, believe it or not, my real skin tone isn't actually green. But I know it blows everyone's mind, so I'm cosplaying She-Hulk. I also know some people who cosplay as different genders and they will change their gender for a cosplay. I know people that cosplay outside of their race and various other things. It doesn't really matter. If you like a character, you can choose to be that character. And then there are several different types of cosplay. There are just so many different ways that a person can cosplay, and so I just have a few different types listed here. You have informal cosplay, which I don't actually see anyone in informal cosplay in the room. Informal cosplay is when you are just being a regular, everyday version of a character. So for instance, if I was doing an informal She-Hulk, I may just do the green body paint and wig, but I wouldn't be wearing her superhero bodysuit. I might just be wearing a pair of jeans and a t-shirt or something, or I wouldn't even be transformed. I would have brown hair and regular skin tone and be her non-green form. And then you have your gender bends. Gender bends are when you are one gender but you are cosplaying a character of a different gender. So anybody, do we have any gender bends in here? Yeah. Yay. Oh, I know you do it. All right, and then we have a crossover cosplay. That is when you are cosplaying a character from one universe inside of another universe. So it's like cosplayception or something like that. A good example. The best. You've been saving my life this weekend. That's the head of programming, everybody. Give him a hand for being such an awesome staffer. Yeah, he did a great job this year. So a crossover character, I do costume commissions, and what I'm making for one of my clients for KatsuCon is a Legend of Zelda and Walking Dead crossover. So I'm making a Link from Legend of Zelda, Michonne, if that makes any sense. So it's basically like Michonne with Link's color scheme and like a Master Sword Katana hybrid that I still have to carve. But yeah, like you can mix and match all different things. There was a really popular fan art that went around the internet a few years ago of Mario and Peach, and then a Link and Zelda, but they were in the Kingdom Hearts universe and everything, and that went pretty viral a few years ago, and I've seen a few people cosplay from it. So lots of fun little things that you can do like that. And I'm going to take some drugs real quick so my migraine will go away. Alright. Then you have Cosplay, which is actually, it's really similar to gender bend. You crossplay frequently. So I've actually never crossplayed, so I'm gonna let her talk about this one because this is her thing.
Okay, so yeah, I do gender bending. The first one that I did was Minato Namikaze from Naruto, and it was his Anbu form. So like the most important thing, like for like females are obviously like very self-conscious about their breasts being too big for cosplaying, but you can always get binders, and honestly, no one really cares if you are cosplaying as a guy and you have big breasts. No one cares. You know why? Because you're cosplaying the character you're cosplaying, and no one else should care that you have boobs because you naturally have them. So honestly, I wouldn't even worry too much about that. Usually with the makeup, like you don't want to, obviously, I don't even use eyeliner for when I'm cosplaying as a guy. I might lightly use brown mascara actually on my eyes so that it's not black. It won't make me look too feminine on the eyelashes. But the main thing a lot of people forget is if you look at anime males, and even like actually even Japanese males in general, their lips are very or match their skin tone almost. So what makes you look a lot more manly, ladies, if you take the pink, like the natural pink tones out of your lips, maybe with a concealer or maybe a nude lipstick, that actually makes a really big difference. You'll be really surprised how manly you can look.
So basically what she's saying is we're men, manly men.
Yeah, but we're men.
Oh my. And then we have formal cosplay. So how many of you were here last night? I mean, it is a 4-day con. A few of you? Okay. Did any of you guys see people in the formal ball party thing that was happening? Like you saw how there were like characters that were dressed up in like formal wear and stuff? Yeah, that's basically formal cosplay. You're just doing like an evening gown or tux or suit version of that character. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So basically what all of this means is you can create so many cool costumes with all the freedom that cosplay presents. Like, especially if you spend a lot of time on the internet, the cosplay community can seem kind of angry and very rule-oriented to an extent. Yeah, it's not how it is. Like, you can literally do what you want as long as it's within the rules of the convention that you're going to. Like, always make sure you check their guidelines and everything, but as long as you're within those guidelines, you're set. So. And then, how to start cosplaying. And this picture is actually a picture of my first cosplay at my first ever convention. I have no idea how I still have that, but so yeah, I've gone a long way from eBay bought Yamanaka to making my own She-Hulk and body paint stuff. So yeah, but it's actually really easy to start cosplaying. You need to find a character that you really want to be for a day. And like there are so many amazing video games and anime and comics out there that shouldn't be too hard to find somebody who you relate to as a person, or like somebody whose look you really like. Like for instance, I don't really have too much of an emotional attachment to Ino from Naruto. However, I'm a natural blonde and I have long hair and I have blue eyes. So guess what? That's a really easy costume for me to do. So that's why I picked it for my first costume and everything. And then once you find a character that you really want to be for the day, you need to decide whether or not you want to make or purchase your cosplay. So how many people in here normally buy their cosplays online, like eBay or private commission? Cool. How many of you actually make your own? Wow, okay, so we're about even. That's really cool. I don't normally have that in this panel. Well, have any of you actually done both? Okay, for those of you who have done both, state one of the differences as far as the planning process is concerned for getting a new cosplay.
The planning process that I've had to take into account is for the making it is actually a lot more time to find the fabrics and everything, whereas with buying it, it's doing a lot of research into who you're getting it from, how much you want to spend on it, and what sort of time constraint you're going to have. And generally buying, depending on if you're getting it like special commission or just, from a store, can be a lot quicker.
Okay, so you're saying that doing it as a private commission can potentially be quicker than actually making it yourself?
Depending on your skill level, yeah.
Okay, very cool. You in the back.
I prefer to make my cosplay, but sometimes I have more costumes, store-bought and homemade. So sometimes today it was Lilo, so I was just like, what can I do real quick because it's a 4-day con. I spend all my time on tomorrow's costume, so I kind of do the store-bought kind of whatever's in my closet for the days that I don't, and then have the one main big one that I work on for a little while longer. So I mix and match that way.
Weekend.
Yeah.
I'm recycling old costumes until tomorrow.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else have anything you want to add? No? Okay. Well, one of the differences that I've noticed, I haven't actually purchased many costumes other than this one, like the I bought my Tsunade cosplay that I wore that same year, and then I actually got sponsored by Superheroes Unlimited earlier this year, and they sent me a costume that they want me to model and photograph for their website. But other than that, I've basically made my own for the past like 5 years, and something that I've noticed is it is way less stressful to buy a costume. However, at the same time, the quality isn't necessarily as good as if I were to make it myself. Something that is a huge bonus to making it yourself is that, especially more so for the female form than the male form, because male forms are more cut and dry than females because less curvature and stuff, but you can actually make them fit better, and that is really important for bodysuits. Like, for instance, yesterday I wore my Spider-Gwen around just to like test it out and stuff, and it did not fit me as well as this bodysuit does that I made myself. And that is because it was a like small, medium, or large size option, whereas this one, like I'm actually in between multiple different sizes, and so I'm able to tailor it to myself, so this is much more form-fitting. And you can actually see that I am actually relatively thin. I'm just very curvy. So it's like that, but also making your own can end up being more expensive depending on like what type of materials you decide to use, or like if you want to make an intricate costume versus a cheap one, and various things like that. And if you do choose to make it, you have to, like what Midna was saying, you need to do a lot of research into different fabric types and colors, etc., like where you can buy certain materials. Because some materials aren't readily available, like at your local Joann's. Like I do a lot of leather work and armor work for like different medieval things, and I can't buy leather at Joann's. I have to drive like 2 hours away to the nearest tandy to pick up hides for my clients. So just taking things like that into consideration. If you do choose to purchase it, you need to decide whether or not you want to buy it from a cosplay supplier or from a private commissioner. So I'm going to ask those of you who have bought costumes before, how many of you have bought it from a supplier? So like an Easy Cosplay Costumes, I think is what they're called, or eBay, anything? But suppliers, okay. And then how many of you have bought from a private commissioner? Yeah, well, I know you have. I make your stuff. So I'm going to ask you again, Midna, what are some of the differences that you've noticed from buying from a commissioner versus a supplier?
Quality. That's the biggest thing. When you're getting it from a supplier, you're gonna get, an off-the-rack costume. It's going to look okay, but it's not going to be really what you want. Whereas a commissioner, they'll take the time and they'll take your exact measurements rather than large, medium, small, like you were saying, and you'll get a better quality and a better fit because you're also going to know the sort of quality work they do.
Yep, and that is something that I heavily stress is actually buying from private commissioners. I'm not just saying that because I am one, I'm saying that because I actually do like the quality a lot more, like she was saying. Another thing that is really cool with working with them, like you actually get to talk with them while they're making your outfit and everything. Like whenever I'm making something for one of my clients, I always make sure to ask their input on something. Like I'm making a costume for someone in Norway this week, and like I didn't know specifically how roughly they wanted an aspect of the costume, and so I Facebooked her and I was just like, hey, I sewed the ruffles on this one way on this side of the outfit, but I sewed them on the different way on the other side, and I want to know which one you like better because it actually will change the look of the overall costume. And so like just the commissioners will go through that effort to like take progress photos and ask your opinion, rather than you say, okay, I guess I'm a medium on your size chart, here's hoping that you're not in Asian sizing, and finding out that no, you're the wrong size. Anybody have any interesting stories like that? Like, yeah, you got one, Tamaki?
And since they're Asian things, I wear mediums, and they're like, get a large, or a large came in too small. This is an extra large. So I actually had to get a whole nother one. They couldn't send it back because the shipping isn't in America, so I'd have to like pay for the shipping, send it back, I wouldn't get all my money back. So they gave me half, let me keep the other one, and I sold the other one to a friend.
Yeah, that was a lot of effort. Oh, this one looks pretty good.
And they're actually really good quality on that website. It's a little hard to get it, but it's good.
I mean, you got your cosplay at the end of the day, though, and that's what matters. Do you have any input, because you've done private and public?
I think that one of my favorite things to do is if you go on Facebook and type in cosplay for sale, US for like United States for sale, you can actually find a lot of really good quality stuff for super cheap. Like this outfit that I'm wearing now, the schoolgirl outfit from Clanad, is normally about $80, $85, $90 at the cheapest on websites like Easy Cosplay or Cosplay Foo. But I ended up getting this costume for $30, and the only really wrong thing with it is it had some little like makeup spots, but other than that, it was completely fine. So shipped to my house in 2 days. So that's also a really good thing. Like if you definitely know that you're never gonna make your cosplays, definitely check out that Facebook page. I saved $50, $60, plus I got it in like 2 days instead of 2 weeks. So that's always a really good option, is just buying straight from the US from other cosplayers.
Speaking of that too, some of the cosplayers that are more well known, they actually have like store envies where they like will sell prints and stuff like that, but they'll also occasionally put up their retired costumes that they don't wear anymore. Like for instance, I have on my online shop like a Miss Marvel I wore like twice just because I felt like making a Miss Marvel, and I have like a few other costumes up there, and like I know a lot of other cosplayers who do make their own stuff will do that. Like a Fire Lily Cosplay does like an annual sale of her retired cosplays every year, and Anna Mia does it pretty frequently as well. So that's like, if you follow them, that's something to keep an eye out for as well, because they normally make really, really good stuff, and like it'll be super cheap and everything if you do it that way. All right, and so you choose your character. Okay, so you obviously like the character you chose, whether it be because of the character's personality, design, or both. So you need to do some research into the character. You need to research their backstory. Even if you haven't seen or played the thing you're cosplaying from, at least take a few minutes to wikia the character. Now, what I mean by this is there are some cosplayers that will cosplay characters that they haven't played the game or watched the anime of, maybe because like they have a group of friends that want to do a cosplay group from it, but like they haven't been able to see it yet, so, but they'll like humor their friends, or they'll cosplay a character before the game or the show comes out or something like that. Like that's actually pretty common. I know a lot of people from the 501st decided to do that with Kylo Ren. And let me tell you something, it's really hard to get a costume 501st approved before that Lucasfilms releases official reference images, but that's a complaint for another day. So you need to research. Because also, like, when you're cosplaying at a con, like, you're gonna have fans of the character come up and talk to you and everything, and, like, they get all excited because you're their favorite character, or one of their favorite characters, or just a character that they admire, and, like, it can be kind of awkward if you don't know anything about the character when you're talking to them. Like, it shouldn't honestly matter too much, but there are some people that go a little bit crazy in that aspect and will like yell or say derogatory things towards you, so just like a little precaution. Something, if you are really familiar with the character, you can learn like recurring catchphrases. This kind of goes into the getting into character thing. For instance, I cosplay Nisha the Lawbringer from Borderlands, the pre-sequel, and I freaking love Borderlands. It's like one of my favorite gaming series, and she's crazy. Like there's no way to go around it. Like she says some of the most offensive, weird crap ever, and she's still like, Borderlands is still a little bit obscure. Whenever you see him at cons, because not very many people cosplay Borderlands. And I was guesting at Mysticon last year, and it was my first time wearing Nisha and everything, and I wasn't expecting anybody to know who I was because it was at a sci-fi con. And so this like super fan of Nisha, like Nisha's like was like his favorite character of all time. And I mean, I play as Nisha too in the pre-sequel, so I mean, I've blogged like over 30 hours with her. And he was just freaking out over it, and I just said one of her like really offensive catchphrases, and he just like busted out laughing, and apparently I made his con just because I actually knew like that one little thing about the character and everything. So being able to do things like that, like I can really like make a situation really funny, or just like fun little add-on to your cosplay experience. And then if you do photo shoots with your character, how many people in here have done a cosplay photo shoot? Yay. There's like a minimum, man. Y'all need to get on that. But something that I feel like really sets the art aspect of cosplay apart is learning how to pose like the character, like for hall shots. Like how many of you guys have had somebody ask you for a photo in the hall? Like not even a photo shoot. Like I've been asked like 20 times today. Like I'm sure everybody who's in a costume now has at least had like 1 or 2 people ask them this weekend. Like when you're posing for them, you don't just want to like stand there like a bump on a log. Like I don't know what I'm doing. There's a camera. Like you want to like learn what the character does. Like I'm basically a green female rage monster who lifts and stuff and like has lifting contests with the Thing from Fantastic Four. So like I did some muscle poses, you know, I did a photo shoot in the gym. I smacked her with a towel, you know. We do things. And no, it doesn't. That's normal in locker. Non-sport folk over here. But like you learn how to pose like the character, like Midna. Why don't you stand up and do your stereotypical, oh my gosh, it's a Midna, can I get your picture? You did such a good job.
So many times today.
Yay! Hall photo posing technique right there. Like just something like that. It takes like 2 minutes to Google search like your character and see what like body position they're most commonly seen in. Alright. And then you want to look up detailed reference pictures to have as accurate of a costume as you can. Now, a lot of people think, unless, like if they're not making their costume, they don't really need to have really good reference photos because they can just like expect like the company to like just be able to like search in like a website search engine like, oh, I want to cosplay Dark Phoenix. And then they'll search it and then it'll pop up. Well, if you are going to hire a private commissioner, you need reference images because there are like, for instance, I get hired to make some, like, I'm sorry, Ruby folk in the room, I've never watched Ruby at all, and I get hired.
You need to get on that.
I know.
It's good. Especially the recent episode.
Yeah.
Wow. No spoilers. No, I'm not spoiling it.
You said the word
You're triggering people, Andrew. Stop triggering people.
You say the word Ruby and everyone goes crazy. That's how it's gonna be.
Yeah, and then I say I haven't seen it, I'm automatically become shunned in my own panel. But I got hired to make a Jean from Ruby, like the dude with like the black and the orange and the armor with the pants and stuff. And I mean, I've never seen Ruby. I didn't even know like what the character's name was or like what it was from. I just had someone contact me like, hey, can you make me a Jean? And I'm like, you want me to make you the color yellow? Like, I don't understand what you're going on about. And then he's like, no, Jean from Ruby. And I'm like, I have no idea. Like, send me a reference image, because it's not my job to find reference images. Like, if you want me to make you something, like, you're going to show me exactly what you want me to make, or else I'm going to take artistic liberty and make it pretty. And by pretty, I mean rhinestone armor.
Plus, if you think about it, think about all the different types of characters there are. Even with my simple character, she has a summer uniform and a winter uniform. When I commissioned her my summer uniform, if I would have just messaged her and told her, hey, can you make me Nagisa's school uniform? Well, obviously she needs to know a little bit specifics. And even if you type in Nagisa's school uniform, you're going to get stuff from the visual novel, some from the anime, the manga. It's all different. So you need to just make sure that you send the photos that is your job. So don't be disappointed if you don't send photos and it doesn't come out the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah, and then if you send photos in initially, but then you see something like after production has already started that you like more, well, hope that your commissioner is pretty chill and is willing to change what they've already worked on and not charge you extra for it. But yeah, like just reference images, really important, and especially if you're making the costume. Are you trying to say something, or?
No, sorry, trying to adjust something.
Oh, okay, I couldn't tell if you were raising your hand or not. All right. Like, for instance, I had to make, how many of you have been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Yay, a few people. Okay, so you know Bobby Morse? Yeah, okay. Well, I knew Bobby Morse as Mockingbird from the Marvel Comics before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came out. And I got hired by Reactive Designs to make a few different superhero costumes out of their new smart fabric over the summer. And I decided to make Mockingbird, 1, because I wouldn't need a wig, because natural blonde, yay. And 2, because they only have the smart fabric over here in the States in black and white, and I really don't feel like dyeing like synthetic fabric that has like metal in it and stuff. So I picked Mockingbird. And something I didn't know about her costume, and I found it out after I assembled and photographed the whole thing, was that there was a back panel, like the shirt in the front is cut like straight across, low cut, because you know superhero women need to show off the boobs because that's like perfectly functional in battle. And so that was low cut, and I just thought the back was the same because there was like I could never find any good back photos in any of the comics that I had of her or online or anything, so I just did it low cut. And then a week before I had to go and work my first event with them, I found a reference image of her back from, I think, the Marvel Alliance game on Facebook or something. And I noticed that it came up all the way, and then I was like, well, crap, I gotta fix this. And so in like 3 days, I had to completely like tear apart the top half of my costume and re-sew it together and repattern it. It was just a pain. So make sure you have all of those reference images like 360 before you start production or before you contact your commissioner.
Actually, it reminds me real quick, don't ever cosplay something from Square Enix if the game's not released. They will change the character design. It happened with a lot of Final Fantasy games, so yeah, don't do that.
Didn't that happen to Terry?
Happened to Terry. Noctis, yeah, he changed his character design. People are also thinking that it's gonna change for Sora as well, so don't cosplay Sora from Kingdom Hearts 3 until the game's out. I promise you it'll change.
Are you talking about Terry Hall?
Yes, he's our friend. Oh, we'll
Yeah.
tell him that you know him. He will like that.
It's like, I have some of your fans in my panel, man.
I love Terry. He's such a good guy.
He's amazing.
You don't necessarily have to not cosplay with cosplay. Just say, oh, I'm cosplaying.
Oh, that's true. I mean, yeah, you can do that. You can totally just cosplay wherever you want. But at the same time, like, if you're going to find it to be more frustrating than it's worth to have to fix it, because Terry was pretty upset about it. Like, if you find it that it's going to be more of a pain, especially if you're making it, to like either start over or take more money to change the design, then I guess that's more the issue. Yeah, of course you can cosplay wherever you want, no problem. But like, you know, that would really suck if a design changed.
The thing is that you don't necessarily have to fix it. You just say, if someone comes up to you and they say, oh, well, I think you're cosplaying Sora. That doesn't quite look right.
Of course.
And you can just be like, oh, well, no, I'm cosplaying the concept art of Sora.
Yeah, that's totally fine too. I mean, I'm not saying there's no issue with that at all. You can totally do that. I mean,
Oh yeah, like I've messed up things on designs for characters before. The only reason I actually went back and fixed Mockingbird was because I literally got paid to be a spokesmodel for the company. Like, if that wasn't the case, I wouldn't have put forth the effort, because like, who was gonna know, you know?
Yeah, most people aren't really gonna care, but I mean, just
Yeah.
for like people who are really like, I know a lot of cosplayers are super OCD about things, so it's just things like that. Like, people, like, I really wouldn't care personally, but there are a lot of cosplayers that would care about that, so.
And also, like, because privately commissioning does get really expensive because you're paying for all of the higher end materials and then you're paying for somebody to make it. So that's normally the most expensive way to get a costume. And like, I'm just gonna say, for instance, I'm gonna use Kingdom Hearts as an example. I cosplayed Naminé. It was like the first costume I ever made. That cost like $10, $20 in materials. Like, yeah, if something changed on that, like, it wouldn't really hurt my bank to go back and fix it. But like, for instance, I made Nightingale armor from Skyrim out of alligator leather. That cost a lot more than $20. If I noticed a design flaw in that, like, I can't really go back and fix that, you know? Like, I blew on my budget on the materials initially. So, like, just to get into that habit and everything, if you do really want to have like a screen accurate costume, like if you want to do something with like the 501st and you have to send it in and stuff like that, or if you want to do like SCA things or like different costuming guilds where like accuracy, like screen accuracy and stuff like that matters more than just walking around a con floor.
Yeah, like, and I hate to say it because I don't really give a crap about accuracy half the time. I mean, this badge not accurate. I don't care. I'm still gonna walk around as my character. But like, I work at Joanne Fabric, so people from the 501st come in all the time. They're the most picky customers I have throughout the whole year. Like, if the fabric it doesn't have the right little tiny streaks in it, there's an issue. But I mean, that's what the 501st is. You know, they're all about that accuracy. So it's just, it really just depends on who you are. You know what I mean?
And then getting into character. Okay, so how many of you actually get into character when you're in cosplay? Yeah, a few of you do? That's cool. That's awesome. All right, so how many of you get like super hype whenever you get into character? Yeah, hype train is real? Yeah, cool. Cause all of the hype. Yeah, like, I just think it, like, that's one of the things that continues to make cosplay appeal to me is you literally get to be your favorite character for the day. Like, how cool is that? Like, a lot of people, like, they only get to dress up, like, once a year on Halloween. Like, I mean, if you go to a con and you're a cosplayer, you can dress up whenever you feel like. Like, it's pretty cool. And, like, there are so many different ways that you can get into character, and since some of you do get into character, why don't you spout off some of the things that you do, like, before getting into your cosplay to get you into character? Tomki.
The very first cosplay was the Arkham Games Joker, and so before I like put on everything, I watched so much of Troy Baker's voice acting and so many of his movies. I stood there in front of the mirror and I did laughs and I tried to get his voice. I don't quite have the voice, but I really tried to get the laugh. And whenever somebody would ask me for a picture or whatever, I would just like sit there for a second, like try to put my hands in my hair, try to get the mouth, and really try to get to like the Joker character, not just like stand there and just take a picture. So I really tried to get that laugh down to get to the Joker.
That's pretty awesome. And what do you do?
I have a little bit more trouble with some characters than others, but like the cosplay I'm doing tomorrow is actually Genesis Rathalos from Final Fantasy. And my favorite character from my favorite game. So like before I'll do him, I'll either watch cutscenes again or I'll re-listen to him spouting off poetry because that's one of his big things. Or I'll start quoting some of his lines and things like that. It just helps me kind of remember his attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it annoys her because I'll start being sassy to her.
I had an example from last night,
Oh my
actually.
gosh, that was amazing.
Have any of you guys seen the newer anime, Himoto Umaru-chan? Okay, so you have. So, I don't know if you guys have seen these little hamster things with orange capes running around the con. That's from the show, and there's this really obnoxious opening cutesy theme song. So, like, last night, while I was putting on my costume, I turned on the music and I flew around the room in my hamster cape. That is all.
And the verb flew is not actually an exaggeration. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
But it was getting into character because Umaru in the show is very hyper, so it just, I don't know, it just kind of adds a little more happiness to you. Like, I wasn't going to go around the con going, oh, I'm Umaru, because that wouldn't have been the character, so it just makes me really happy to be her, because she's so cheerful in the series, so it helped.
Oh yeah. Something I did for She-Hulk today, we did a little film before I did my photo shoots today, and I actually, because She-Hulk is, she's one of my favorite Marvel females actually. In a nutshell, she is like the brawny, smart, and pretty chick. Like, she was body positivity in Marvel Comics before that was like a whole thing. So, something that she does a lot, like her powers are based off of her physical abilities and everything before she transforms, and so like she actually has to lift in real life and be in shape in real life, or else her Hulk transformation isn't going to be as powerful and stuff. So I was actually like in the gym, like working out and everything before I started doing my photo shoots and whatnot, and so like that really helped, and it also helped me get my bulging muscles so I would be swole for the photos. Well, I mean, I'm thin. I gotta bulk up before I try to do muscle shots and stuff. Gotta do what you gotta do, man. And then I know some people, they'll listen to pump up music. Like, I have a few friends that cosplay from the WWE, and yeah, I'm not gonna drop any names, but
I will drink.
but like they'll listen to like the opening theme for the wrestler, and I know nothing about the WWE.
Walk-on song?
Yeah, well that's what they're called, walk-on songs. They will listen to that before they get in the costume. And then I know one of my friends in college, bless her soul, when she crossplayed as Prussia from Hitalia, she read fanfic about him before she got into costume. Like the night and like morning before we would go to a con, she'd be like reading fanfic about her character, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. I mean, it really worked for her because she's normally a super introverted person. So for her to go out and be like, I'm awesome, like all day long in public, like, I mean, if it worked for her, it worked for her because everybody loved her as Prussia and everything, and it worked out great. But like, you can do like loads of things to get into character, and like, if you're embarrassed by some of them, like reading fanfic, like you can just go in your little dark corner in your hotel room and like, just be like, oh no, man, I'm on Tumblr, we're good, or something. Yeah.
What if you're cosplaying as a character? Doesn't have a lot of lines, and
I'm cosplaying as Queen Beryl tomorrow. She has very few lines in the manga or the original anime. I haven't seen the new one because I'm cosplaying as concept art for the manga tomorrow. She doesn't have a lot of lines, she doesn't have a lot of screen time unless she's sitting. It's hard to get pumped for a character like that. And most of the fanfics are pretty grim, actually, if you read them.
Oh.
So how do you get pumped up for a character to be that? Because I like her because she's a villain, and that's one of my favorite things. She's the first villain. Yeah, she's evil.
Okay.
She doesn't have an evil laugh, she doesn't do anything. She just kind of sits there, looks evil, malevolent, and she wants...
RBF, man. RBF the whole time. I can't say the word because this is an 18 plus panel, but I'm sure you know. You could do that. Can you think of anything other than RBF?
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, or you could play some like really just dark music. That way you get into the character.
And angry all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really watch Sailor Moon at all, but I mean, that's what I would do. I've actually never been an evil character. Now, like, have you ever been an evil character?
Oh.
Now that we think about it, we don't know.
No, wait.
I guess that would feel
I
different.
might have one. Let me think. Well, technically a nightingale is a thief.
That's
I
true.
steal from people, is that? Oh, yeah, I was a Dark Brotherhood assassin. That's pretty evil, like killing people for money.
talk much, did you?
No, not really.
My next phrase would be, give me that silver imperial crystal, that's all I could say. Over and over.
I don't know, maybe just interpret the character as you will. Like, I mean, it is character play, so, like, bring the character to life how you feel like she would be.
Okay, so no one can tell me I'm wrong, as long as I'm evil, right?
Yep.
Okay.
As long as you're evil, you're good. But I need to actually fly through these next 2 slides real quick. So key times to be in character would be photo shoots. I think that's self-explanatory. That's me being Wonder Girl. I am apparently super strong, and I made a crater in the road JK that was already there. I just used strategic placement. And then like if you're doing a cosplay interview or something like that for like a YouTube channel, you could be in character, like if the interviewer actually requests that you're in character. I've had to do a few of those. And then costume contests, because like normally half of your score is based on your stage presence. So like if your character is evil, just go on stage and be like RBF the whole time. That'll be like you in character. Or I'm She-Hulk. I am a rage monster who is also like moderately intelligent. Like I could go out and be ragey or something on stage. And then when not to be in character. No, don't film that one. That slide is evil. I don't want that one to get on the internet yet.
Yes.
Yet. When eating, that is a huge pet peeve of mine. People expecting cosplayers to be in character when they're eating, or wanting photos when somebody's sitting down to eat and everything. Like, that's kind of annoying. But and then when you're just doing something for you, like I took 10 minutes earlier today to walk through the dealer's room because I'm not going to be able to see the dealer's room until like Sunday afternoon because of my panel and cosplay schedule and everything. And like obviously I'm not going to walk around being like, I'm angry, oh look, an Ace figurine. Like, I'm not going to be like that. I'm just going to enjoy looking at the figurines and my trashy little weeb things that I like. And then another thing is when the character you are portraying is offensive in actions or speech. I'm going to use Hitalia as an example because I am part of that fandom and it's really easy to find offensive things with it. Don't judge me.
I judge you so hard for that.
Anyways, I'm going to use Germany and Prussia as examples because this actually happened at Anime Boston a few years ago, I do believe. Long story short, the Axis Powers Hitalia series, it takes place during WW2. And they're Nazis. They actually, like, the characters are drawn in Nazi regalia and everything because it's period appropriate to an extent. And there were cosplayers who were going around the con and they were doing like the Nazi Heil Hitler stuff. And then they decided to do it outside of the con center in downtown Boston. And it made it to the local news in multiple forms of media.
Oh no.
Now, we wonder why the world sometimes thinks we're horrible creatures and human beings. Exhibit A.
Yeah.
Learning not to do those things. They're like, I love South Park. It's one of my favorite TV series. I made a joke with my friend in college, like, hey, I'll bet you $20 I can make a sexy female Cartman cosplay. And like, I haven't done it yet, but like I'm not, whenever I get around to doing it, most likely at MagFest or Dragon Con, I am not going to be walking around the con center in broad daylight saying what Cartman would say, because there are going to be children running around. And we don't want children learning those words and stuff. So like, time and place is key for certain characters. And then another time when you don't need to be in character is when you just don't feel like being in character. Like, if you don't feel like being a girl crazy, I'm gonna give every female that I see a rose and then cry and grow mushrooms in the corner tamaki. You don't need to do that. Nobody's making you. You can do what you want. And so basically, the most important message from this whole panel is cosplay is for fun. I've met some of my best friends through cosplay. Like, if you're if you are having fun, you're doing it right. If you're not having fun, then you need to try something else because you're not doing it right. And then it's a great way to meet like-minded friends, like the one that's leaving me at the end of my panel. Woo! But yeah, so that was my panel. Yay. My migraine went away. Leave. Go to the next panel.